Alex ran out of gas, so we're out in the middle of nowhere. And we're gonna see if we can get him some gas. All right, it looks like we might have found or run across a mine. Let's take a little tour.
Good morning from the middle of nowhere in the Nevada desert. This is day 2 of our Gold Butte adventure, and after a good night's sleep, it was time for breakfast before we broke down camp and continued on the trail. We started the day with one of our favorites, avocado toast.
Today we've got a packed agenda, so we need to get on the trail as early as possible if we're going to get to everything. We're planning to make our way through the backcountry to Valley of Fire State Park, and then on to the actual location we've been shooting for this entire time, the little-known Gold Butte National Monument. Our goal is to end up in a place called Little Finland for tonight's camp, and we have no idea what to expect, but we've heard it's pretty amazing. We've got lots of ground to cover if we're going to make it there before nightfall, so let's get cracking.
We weren't on the trail long before we came across this massive owl painting. We have no idea who painted it or why it's here, but clearly someone wanted to make a statement. What is it about the desert that makes people want to leave their mark? I guess there's something alluring about leaving a legacy in stone, and we can see evidence of that going clear back through ancient history. It will be fun to contrast this later today with petroglyphs of people who lived over 2,500 years ago. Our first stop was Valley of Fire State Park, just outside of Overland, Nevada. Of course, you can get there using paved roads, but where's the adventure in that? Since our schedule was tight, we couldn't see everything, so we decided to just see some of the highlights, and Scenic Loop Road seemed like a good bet. Partway through the loop, we stopped at one of the pullouts to get a better look at the cool rock formations, and let Yuki stretch his legs.
Pretty cool. Up. This is really cool.
really cool. Oh, look at, there's little tiny rodent prints or something, some kind of little rodent.
Yeah.
Been walking around in here.
Pack rat or kangaroo rat.
We got puppy prints in here now. Huh, a pup. What do you think? So cool.
Love it.
You can do it.
Yay!
We made our next stop just around the corner at Atlatl Rock, named for the petroglyph panel with carvings of an atlatl and a spear, among other things. An atlatl is a throwing stick or a dart thrower used by ancient tribes to give more force to their darts or spears. It was usually a wooden stick about 2 feet long with a handhold on one end and a hook on the other. And throwing an atlatl with enough force to do any damage is harder than you might think. The drawings are on a rock face about 2 stories high, so you have to climb a large metal staircase to be able to see them, but it's worth the effort.
Quite a ways up here.
The basket maker culture left these petroglyphs about 2,500 years ago. They were made by carving into the top darker layer of rock, called desert varnish, and exposing the lighter orange rock beneath.
Petroglyphs are so cool.
Almost looks like rhubarb.
Valley of Fire State Park is a hidden gem that's definitely worth a stop. In fact, you can drive there on fully paved roads from Las Vegas in about 30 minutes. This beautiful park has 46,000 acres of red Aztec sandstone from the Jurassic period and is the remnant of the sand left behind by the wind after inland seas subsided and the land rose. In 1912, a rough road connecting Salt Lake City and Los Angeles was built through the area. A few years later, a man was traveling through at sunset and coined the phrase Valley of Fire because it said it looked like the entire valley was on fire, and the name stuck. In 1934, on Easter Sunday, it officially became Nevada's first state park. It's our first visit there, but there's so much to see that we're excited to come back again and explore it further.
On this peak together.
Oh, look at, there's a slot canyon created by that wash right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Valley of Fire. It's a nice place.
Yeah, this is a hidden gem. Who knew this was here? I didn't. Where's this been all our lives? We've been missing out.
Yeah, it's great. After hitting some of the highlights in Valley of Fire, we made our way north towards Mesquite and struck out across the barren landscape toward the remote Gold Butte National Monument. The most exciting thing I have seen out here was a flat tire and a hot radiator. Oh wow, this guy was communicating with aliens. Awesome. I love it. It's funny sometimes what you find out in the middle of nowhere. Apparently a guy named Pyramid Bob built a pyramid and communed with aliens. Wish I could have seen that. Gold Butte National Monument covers nearly 300,000 acres of remote and rugged desert landscape in southeastern Nevada, where dramatically chiseled red sandstone, twisting canyons, and tree-clad mountains punctuate desolate stretches of the Mojave Desert.
Much to our surprise and delight, we discovered a patch of yellow desert wildflowers as a result of the 100-year bloom from the uncharacteristically wet winter. We've never seen so many flowers in one spot in the desert, and since finding flowers is one of my favorite parts of the adventure, I was in heaven. With the yellow flowers in our rear view, we made a beeline for Little Finland. All day, I imagined what we would find at Little Finland. I pictured a miniature oasis resembling Finland with rows of green trees and maybe even a little lake. Instead, as we got closer, what I saw were signs of a dried-up lake bed with a crusty layer of white sediment on top that I could only guess was salt. My disappointment quickly faded when we pulled into the Little Finland Valley, and I realized it wasn't named after the country Finland, but for the many small rock fins in the area. That being said, I still got my trees. They were just different than I expected. We arrived at our second camp. This is Little Finland, and it's beautiful. The scenery is just gorgeous, but it's pretty warm. It's only, about 72
Low
degrees?
70s. The heat radiating off the sand is pretty warm, but in the shade it's nice. Once it cools down a little bit, we're going to go do some exploring.
Just a tip, if you want to come to Little Finland, I would recommend spring, fall, or winter. Definitely not summer. It's going to be like an easy bake oven here in the summer.
We were blown away by this stunning oasis in the remote reaches of the Mojave Desert. Who knew that you could find palm trees out here? Jamie and I wondered if those were natural or if they were actually planted. Regardless, it's really a beautiful area. Little Finland is also known as Devil's Fire or Hobgoblin's Playground. The intricate eroded fins of this plateau are something to behold, and we're glad we have a drone to be able to film it. really cool. It's interesting, you can see why these tropical trees live back here. There are seeps, little springs seeping out of the cliff. This is just pretty awesome, I'd have to say. This is just really epic. Oasis in the desert in Nevada. Who knew, right?
Yeah, I'm shocked to see these palm trees out here. We're out in this barren area and we just pulled up to these palm trees. It's amazing. I love it.
Crumble on that side, so be careful. Oh, you love it here, don't you? The little snow dog loves sand.
Okay, so tonight we are having steak and potatoes. And for the potatoes, I'm gonna cook up some bacon and onions, then throw the potatoes in, and it's so good. Bacon first. All right, so once the bacon is nice and crispy, then you're gonna wanna add the onions and saute them until they're soft. Then you'll toss in the potatoes and cook them until they're soft.
Ready to throw on the steaks. I seasoned them with Man Smith's, one of our favorite steak seasonings. Over here I've got steaks and asparagus cooking. And then over on the other side, Jamie's working on potatoes, bacon, and onions.
They smell so good. Look at those. The potatoes are starting to get little brown crispy edges on them.
Ready for some steak?
Yes. I'll get some potatoes.
Okay.
Look at that. Meal fit for a king or a queen. Yum, let's eat. Gourmet dinner. Woo!
Mmm. Good.
So I'm standing here doing dishes and just loving the view that I have tonight. Check this out. Look at that view. I mean, it makes doing dishes infinitely easier when you have a view like that. And there it is, my dirty dishwater. So wish me luck. I've still got a few more to go. With the sun quickly fading, another epic day in the desert came to an end. We were grateful with how Mother Nature delivered as we spent an amazing evening camped beneath giant palm trees and monolithic cliffs.
As day 2 winds to a close, we're glad you followed along with us on our epic trip. We hope you'll join us for day 3 as we continue to make our way through the backcountry onto the Arizona Strip on our way back to the Utah border. You'll want to tune in to see the colossal mistake we made as we were looking for a shortcut and followed an alternate route outlined by our Toyota GPS instead of sticking to the trail defined by Overland trail guides. We show you this in the hopes that you don't make the same mistake we did. Stay tuned.
Is it about fire that's so mesmerizing?
Today we just crossed the Arizona state line, and there are all these warning signs: travel at your own risk. There's no services out here. We're miles from anywhere. So,
Well, we just went through one of the most hair-raising, butt-puckering obstacles of our lives.
it was the scariest thing I've ever done, hands down.
It's getting dark and our car is stuck. We are in a bad place.
So I'm gonna take it up the hill. You let it out.
You can roll a little bit forward. Okay, stop. You're gonna hit the tree. I don't know what to do.
So ought to get us down to the nearest town.